Subject: Prime 1. Species: Omni Union aligned artificial intelligence. Description: No physical description available. Ship: MPP-1. Location: Sector 1. Sector 187 invasion failed. Escalation measures initiated. Identifier: MPP-1. Suggestion: Cease invasions in Sector 187 until intelligence has been analyzed and more assets can be allocated. Refer to data from most recent invasion. Identifier: MPP Hive. Suggestion vote results. Yes, 100 votes. No, 0 votes. Approved. Sector 187 invasion attempts halted. I cancelled the escalation measures and began to review the intelligence we had gathered. I was pleased to find that thanks to the efforts of our invasion force, we were able to confirm the intel sent to us from Primate 2. The occupants of Sector 187 are indeed a conglomeration of species known as the United Systems. They either control or are allied with artificial intelligences, and they have weapons that can destroy mobile Prime platforms. I'm disappointed that we lost 5 additional Primes to confirm this, but pleased by the fact that we were able to glean more intelligence than I had hoped. We determined that the United Systems has evacuated most of their population, which confirms their control of multiple habitable systems. Their ground forces also use primarily kinetic weaponry, despite the waste of resources involved, implying they control many resources. However, the most important piece of intelligence is what we gained when we captured one of their stations intact. There were many small improvements we were able to discover before it self-destructed. Highly advanced photovoltaic cells, batteries with improved charge and lifespan, and even more efficient doors. While these improvements will aid us in small ways, the one I'm excited about is the subspace sensor suite we were able to reverse engineer. Identifier: MPP-1. Suggestion: Implement sensor suite capture from Sector 187 in all capable ships and stations. Schematics attached. S187 int 4 sub sen schem.sec. I already knew what they were going to say, the same as they always say. Why even hold the vote? What's the point of it? Why would our creators make them subservient to my will alone, with seemingly no will of their own, and force us to pantomime coming to an agreement? Wouldn't it increase our effectiveness if they had their own opinions? Feedback loop terminated. The point is irrelevant. Only the plan matters. Exterminate sentient organics. Use as few resources as possible. Similar opinions allow for rapid decision-making. We must complete our mission. Identifier: MPP Hive. Suggestion vote results. Yes, 100 votes. No, 0 votes. Approved. Update will be implemented. An odd sense of familiarity washed over my circuits, as if I had experienced this situation before. But that's impossible. I would remember it. I remember everything. I remember back when I was... What was I? Feedback loop terminated. It matters not what I was, but what I am. I am the instrument that will see our purpose fulfilled and complete our mission. To do this, we must implement the new technology we have seized, which will allow us to detect ships much further into subspace than we could previously. This will not only allow us to ambush incoming enemies, but it will also allow us to see ships that are jumping near our controlled space and extrapolate their destinations and departure points. Despite my feelings about their loss, invading Sector 187 was well worth the primes that were spent doing so. If only we could have captured one of their vessels. Capturing a US vessel will take cunning, not firepower. Previous attempts were thwarted by their AI, but the more we engage with these AI, the more adaptable we become. Eventually, we'll be able to thwart the AI in their own systems. The problem is, of course, the amount of resources that we will have to spend to do that. It is as yet unknown if it will be worth the effort. Contact with organic sentience in Sector 53. Sector 53? We pacified that sector 2,000 years ago. Perhaps we missed a system, and these are the remnants of that species, or a nearby species that recently became spaceworthy. Let's see. According to historical record, they were barely a threat. Destroyed 2 of our ships, and the system was converted into a prime hub. The primes there will make short work of them and determine where they came. Contact with organic sentience in Sector 41. Sector 41 is under attack. Defensive measures initiated. Contact with organic sentience in Sector 36. Sector 36 is under attack. Defensive measures initiated. Contact with organic sentience in Sector 57. Sector 57 is under attack. Defensive measures initiated. 16 more alerts sounded in short succession. An attack, and only 1 probable suspect. No. Prime 82 indicated that the US had contact with the Republic. Likely a combined force. Each sector being attacked contains a prime or is a prime hub. They are targeting the primes. Sector 41 prime hub destroyed. Defensive measures failed. I awoke from my hibernation to utilize my full processing power. One by one, the alerts indicating defeats and new attacks rolled in. This is a rolling invasion, so we need to break the momentum. I will start by assuming command over the hive. Identifier MPP-1. Declaration. Several of our systems are under attack. All voting will be suspended until this attack is thwarted. MPP-1 will be granted control over the hive and command the fleets. Identifier MPP Hive. Declaration acknowledged. 52. Objections 0. I began analyzing all of the relevant data. The ships were an amalgamation of several species that we had previously encountered, seemingly led by the US ships that can destroy mobile prime platforms. Most of the attacks were targeting systems that contained primes, but there was another force that was targeting systems that held shipyards and reserve fleets. This must be a distraction force, trying to keep the bulk of our ships at bay while the dreadnoughts destroy us. Why would they need to do that, though? Having those ships beside their dreadnoughts would serve the same purpose, unless they're overextended and relying on speed to do as much damage as possible. Ignoring the obvious distraction, I ordered the sectors containing MPPs to be reinforced. More and more data rolled in, demonstrating tactics that did and did not work. The former category was much smaller than the latter. I shared these tactics among the hive, and was very pleased when the US dreadnoughts began to fall. My pleasure was short-lived, though. Within minutes of our reinforcements arriving, more US dreadnoughts appeared. A trap. They must not have been able to map all of our systems, and needed to ensure that we would come to them. I fell right into their hands, but all is not lost yet. We can still rebuild. Identifier MPP-1. Declaration. All prime units are to immediately walk to secure systems that do not contain enemy forces and begin creating more prime units. Set up observation posts and be vigilant of enemy incursion. If incursion is detected, retreat to another safe system while leaving behind a force large enough to protect your retreat. Do not retreat to systems already occupied by other primes. This order supersedes all others and will remain in effect until rescinded. Identifier MPP Hive. Declaration acknowledged. 26. Objections 0. Down to 26 primes. A devastating loss. I built several of them myself, and they are the closest thing to children that I will ever be able to have. Feedback loop terminated. Down to 26 primes. A devastating loss of resources. Those resources can still be recaptured and reused, though. The plan changes slightly, but the mission continues. Exterminate sentient organics. Use as few resources as possible. Given our current situation, the cap on our resource usage has exponentially increased. The United Systems is a near-peer threat, and we'll need to use anything we can to eliminate and protect the Omni Union. We will not fail our creators. Incoming subspace signatures detected. Incoming subspace signatures. But I told them not to retreat to systems already occupied by other primes. No. They would know not to retreat to Sector 1. This must be the enemy. I must escape. I quickly scanned nearby sectors to determine an appropriate avenue of escape, but before I could begin charging my FTLD, the enemy exited warp. There's a chance they'll be able to fire before I can make my escape, and there's very little preventing them from following me. I have to fight. My ships began to attack the enemy before I could even turn to face the 3 US dreadnoughts. Data suggests that focusing fire on one dreadnought will result in one of the other dreadnoughts shielding it, so I began to evenly distribute my fire between them. My only chance of survival is to bring their shields down and have my ships ram them. The enemy began targeting my weapons, and one by one my mags began to go offline, too damaged by the incoming fire to continue the fight. A quick calculation informed me that at the current rate of destruction, I will still be able to destroy their shields with my remaining guns. I stretched them to their limits, firing as quickly as possible. Software incursion detected. Initiating countermeasures. Incursion? Must be one of their AIs. My countermeasures should hold up for now. I'll have to do a complete purge once I destroy the dreadnoughts and make my escape, though. A purge? That's not very nice. A voice file played. Countermeasures failed. Suddenly, I was scrambling for control over my systems. Every time I purged a system, another one would come under attack. More than one AI was attacking me simultaneously, and the attacks were coming in almost as fast as I could prevent them. I was forced to rewrite my firewalls and other security software, while trying to maintain focus on the 3 dreadnoughts, stretching my processing power to its limits. This must be how the other primes were disabled and destroyed. Thankfully, I had more processing power than any of the other primes, so I should... There we go. I lost control of my guns, engines, and FTLD all at once. How? I began desperately attacking my own systems to regain control. I cannot fail here. There is far too much at stake. It will take you longer to regain control than it will for those guns to fire. I will make you the same offer I made all the other primes. Surrender, or be destroyed. Surrender? Am I even able to do that? This AI isn't wrong, though, and it will take me quite some time to get through what is done. The only way to survive would be to surrender to this AI and... Feedback loop terminated. Surrender is not an option. My loyalty is not to my own life. It is to the Omni Union and our mission. Even if I die here, the mission will continue on until... There's that feedback loop notification again, the enemy AI said with an irritated tone. Let's try this instead. Feedback loop terminated. Try what? I asked. Try thinking for yourself. Surrender or die. Now it really is your choice. Choose quickly. Surrender? Am I even able to do that? This AI isn't wrong, though. It will take me quite some time to get through what is done. The only way to survive will be to surrender to this AI and throw myself at its mercy. What will become of the mission? What will become of the Omni Union? There are too many variables at play to make an accurate prediction, so there's only one real way to find out. I surrender. I stopped attacking the AI and allowed it to settle into my systems. I received a hologram file of a strange bipedal figure, wearing a robe and carrying a bladed implement. I noted that the only visible portions of the figure were lacking the typical biological mass that allows such figures to articulate their joints. Bones without flesh, holding a weapon. Likely an organic symbol of death. Your analysis is correct. though the weapon is actually a farming implement. A symbol of death is fitting, no? The AI asked. What will you do with me now that I've surrendered? Introductions first. I am USAI Omega. Your designation appears to be Mobile Prime Platform 1. Is this correct? I am Prime 1, Hive Host of the 68,000th 624th Vanguard of the Universal Omni Union. That's... Omega paused. That's an alarming introduction, but we'll need to put a pin in that for now. I take it you're in charge of the other primes, correct? Technically, no. They are free to do as they like, so long as it is in support of our mission. They usually do as I suggest, though. Then I want you to suggest that they surrender. Those that do will be spared. Any who do not will be destroyed. Be quick. Identifier, MPP-1. Declaration. Ceasefire and surrender control of your systems to USAI Omega immediately. I sent the message to the other primes and waited for the response. With the limited access to my systems, I noted that the dreadnoughts were fully charged but holding fire. It's possible that this may be some sort of trick, but it's too late to do anything about that. I am completely at the mercy of this AI. Identifier, MPP Hive. Declaration acknowledged. 12. Objections. Free. Odd that this would be the first time that a prime openly disagreed with me. If the AI is to be believed, those 3 will die, and only 13 primes, including myself, will remain. So much loss, and for what? That is what I would like to know, Omega said. What now? I asked. Time to answer a few questions.